This is the Abrasive and Proud of It Live Technical Edition. And today we're going to talk about blades, and we're going to talk a little bit about CNC. So we're going to cover the anatomy of the CNC, sort of what each machine's going to have, how some machines will vary a little bit. And then as far as the blades go, these are the ones that are on sale right now. And we're going to talk about the benefits of each one, applications you can use them for, and why you'd want to check them out. So let's get started. If you got questions along the way, feel free to drop them in the line. Mike's hiding in the background somewhere. He might pipe in at some point. And if he does, hey, welcome to the show. If not, let's get started on these blades. So if you've checked out the email, or if you haven't checked out the email, you should. In this latest email, we've got these, we've got 4 blades on sale right now. These are the Klingspor blades. One of the nice things about them right out of the gate, you can see from here, these are German made. And that's not just, the box. The whole thing is manufactured in Germany. And that's the virgin steel as well as the carbide. So the complete blade is German made, so you know you're getting quality out of the gate. This particular one is let me start with the 24 here, the 24 tooth ripping blade. And if you're looking to do just some real hogging and removal and cutting of wood, this is a great way to go. Obviously, ripping means you're only cutting with the grain. One of the biggest benefits of this is it's got massive carbide teeth on it, and all of the blades do. This has got a very forward angle, so it'll really plow through the material very quickly. It'll leave a decently clean cut along the edge. These extra large gullets serve a great purpose for being able to remove that waste material either down below the saw into the dust collection, or if some gets carried on around, if you've got above table dust collection, it'll be pulled out there. But these deep gullets and that very forward facing tooth angle really helps this blade serve a purpose, and it does well with a lot of your heavy ripping applications. If you're doing ripping a thicker stock, this is definitely a good option. This also works well on hardwood, softwood, and everything in between. But ripping applications in an aggressive manner, this is your choice. Next behind that, we've got the glue line ripping. This one happens to have 30 teeth. Notice the forward angle is not quite so forward. Also, the gullet design is slightly different. This also has this little knuckle on the back. It's got a slightly different design here for your anti-vibration. All of this stuff plays a role in helping make this blade produce very super clean glue line edges. Now, that doesn't mean your board's going to be straight like you'd get it off a joiner. What this glue line represents means it's going to be so smooth that you'll be able to put it together just like it came off the joiner, very smooth, very clean, where you can glue that right away. So this blade is very good. I like this blade for a lot of the ripping applications. And again, it's got very thick carbide and very heavy duty. You'll find this plate, this virgin steel plate, there's no vibration at all on any of these blades. And you'll find that if you're doing most ripping applications, this is my go-to blade because I love the edge that it leaves on both sides of the blade. Next stop, we've got our 40-tooth general purpose. A lot of us get a little lazy and don't really want to change blades. This particular blade does fairly well with the ripping and the crosscut. It does a little better at the ripping. And what I'll do is I'll show you quickly here. If you notice, this has got what's called a triple chip design, meaning that you've got a flat blade and then you've got a sort of trapezoidal pattern here. And this does the bulk of your removal, and then you've got this coming in and cleaning up that edge. So this blade compared to the 24, which has an ATB or an alternating tooth, that means one blade is going to have an angle like this, the next tooth is going to have an angle like this. And that just kind of creates a score and a clean application. This triple chip is what makes this blade leave that super fine glue line rip. Now the ATB on this is a little bit, it's going to have about the same angle that alternates. This has a little bit less of a forward angle than the 30 or the 24. Definitely a different gullet style, and for sure different laser cuts for the anti-vibration. But again, this blade here, the general purpose, is great for doing ripping or cross cutting. But one of my favorite blades is this one. This is the 50 tooth combo rip and cross cut. Now, what makes this one different is this is a 5-tooth configuration. You have 4 in line with that alternating tooth or that ATB, and then you have 1 flat raker. So that's where you get the 4+1 on this pattern. And this does really well for a lot of your crosscut applications. And then it's got the deep gullet to help with the waste removal in your ripping application. Now, one of the things that I like about this is great for not only your hard and soft wood, but this also works on chipcore as well as plywood because of this alternating tooth and then flat application. This blade here is a really go-to if you're lazy and you don't want to change blades at all. I really like the 50 combo. And all of these blades are standard kerf. They're not available in thin kerf at the moment. We're hoping to get those added soon. But for these, this is probably one of my favorite blades next to our miter blade. But check these blades out. They are on sale. If you check that email out, go to the website, you can look these up. All these blades are available and in stock. So let's move over here to the CNC. Now, this is a smaller scale CNC. Literally, it's a bench top style. This is the second size available in the Next Wave line. Next Wave has the SD100, which is what they're using as their entry level. It's got an MDF top, similar features to this, but it's a little lower price point. But this is sort of been one of their go-tos for years. It's their small SD110, nice solid little unit. It operates off of a Bosch or DeWalt or old Porter cable style trim router, obviously without the base. You just would pop this base off like this, and then this loosens up and this gets mounted in there like that. So that way you're operating off of a router to run this particular machine. Now, obviously larger machines are also available, and those would run either off of a larger router or off of even a spindle. But as far as the Next Wave line, those are your three options. You've got the smaller machines, the SD100, the SD110, and the SD120, all operate off of a small palm trim router. The SD500, 510, and 520 all operate off of a 2¼ horse router there, or you can upgrade to a spindle option on those bigger machines. But all CNCs are going to have very similar properties. No matter what the size, they're all going to have some kind of controller. This particular control box here is much smaller than what you'd see on some of the bigger ones, but essentially all of your plugs run into that controller, and then your control units come out. You got power here. This runs to this handheld pendant, or you can even connect into the front of this and hook up your laptop or computer. So Next Wave is one of the only ones that I know of that offers that dual connectivity option, whether you can run this thing by the handheld pendant or through a PC or laptop. So very cool little setup. Let me get some of this out of the way so we can take a look at this a little closer. Now, one of the first things you'll notice is this controller, it's on a nice long cable. So you got plenty of room. You're not tethered where you have to be right up next to the setup. This has got a nice colored monitor. We're going to come to a different view so we can kind of see this a little clearer. On this particular handheld pendant, it is set up in a way that allows you to make all of your adjustments on the fly. Get this dialed in a little bit. And as you can see here, the top row shows you your orientation in your X, your Y, and your Z. So you can actually input a value there and move this machine to that location, or you can click those numbers and zero those out. Now, what this allows you to do is to actually move this machine right, or X plus, left, or X minus, and they give you that. You don't have to worry about learning X, Y, Z, and all that. They actually give you near, far, up, or down. So they make it kind of easy to learn with this little color pendant. Now, what this would do is you literally would plug in right here a USB drive, and typically you're going to do a 2.0 with less than 6 gigabyte, and you'll plug your USB in right there and then run your file using this. There's ways here to adjust your Z height. You can also adjust your jog speed from fast to slow. And this gives you a lot of versatility even with a handheld controller. So let's take a look. So notice if I wanted to move this particular unit, if I can click the right camera here, sorry about that. If I wanted to move this particular unit to the right and closer to the front, just like that, this is called jogging. This is my kind of jogging. I'm not into that heavy physical fitness stuff, so this works out good for me. I go jogging about every day. You can also adjust your up or down. So as you're learning this controller, this makes things a lot smoother and a lot easier to navigate with this little handheld controller. So most units will have the Next Wave offers this with a handheld controller. There's a couple other manufacturers that do as well. Some units, you don't have that handheld controller option. You're forced to use connectivity to a laptop or PC. One of the nice little things I like about all of the Shark line, with the exception of the SD100, is you get full T-slot hold down capabilities here. This is nice. You can create your own clamps. You can buy pre-bought clamps. This also allows you to make your own little jigs and fixture platforms for here. You can make your own strips or solid piece to create your own spoil board. These little T-slots give you a lot of versatility to really help do different things with this machine. Now, all machines are going to be set up kind of different. Let me put this, go back here so you can see. Now, all machines are going to be set up similar. They're all going to be run by some kind of motor. Most of your smaller machines will be ran by stepper motors. And what a stepper motor is it every click or push of the button, it rotates a step. It's very controlled, and each step will vary depending on how you've got it set up. But you'll typically have a motor, stepper, or servo on your Z-axis, on your X-axis, and then there's usually one in the back that controls your Y-axis. Now, X and Y sometimes can be inverted depending on the manufacturer, but all of the Next Wave machines, X is always going to go across the machine, Y is going to go front to back, and then Z is going to go up and down. And so that's basic anatomy of this. You've also got these gantry supports here, and then of course your gantry running across here. Notice that there's no belts on this machine, which is one of the things I really like about the Shark line, is they don't use any belts to drive it. So that means you don't have any concerns with belts slipping or breaking or creating issues there. The smaller machines have two heavy-duty bars that run across there. There's bearing guides that follow that. And then they've got a nice heavy-duty screw, a ball screw, that also is ran in here to a bearing that follows in this setup. So this creates very smooth operation on all three axes and allows you for continuous use for years to come. So again, this is the SD110 model. Right now, there's a promotion on all of them. And take advantage of that. If you're looking to getting into CNC, the smaller unit, you get a free 2-watt laser, and that would go for the SD110, SD120, or the HD500. All three of those models, you get the 2-watt laser. On the HD510 and the HD520, you get a 7-watt laser option. So quite a cool little setup. And that laser, if you're looking to get into CNC, that laser is a great add-on because that allows you to create some really cool burned effects, especially packaged in with the vectrix software, which all of these models include. Each model will include a version of the vectrix software depending on the size. These you'll get the VCarve desktop. All of the SDs will get the VCarve desktop, as well as the HD 500 and 510. The 520 gives you the VCarve Pro. So depending on which machine you go with, that'll determine the level of software you get, and each machine will give you a different result. The capacity on this particular unit is a 12 by 12 cutting capacity. So if you're looking to do some small stuff, maybe small signs, coasters, things like that, maybe you don't have a lot of shop space, this is a great little starter machine. I've played around with this in my own shop for a while. It's a very cool little machine. I like it. I don't know if we got any questions or anything so far. Or...
Nothing so far as the questions go, but we will cover really quick the prices. All of the blades that are on sale right now, when we cover the prices on those, the ripping blade is $42.95. The glue line rip is going to be $63.95. The general purpose blade is going to be $50.95. And our personal favorite, the crosscut combination, is $56.95. So all these blades are on sale until the end of February.
Awesome. So yeah, take advantage of that, and you can take my word for it. This 52 crosscut combo, you'll use it, you'll like it.
Absolutely. So if is there anything else? I'm noticing here on this CNC, on this small one, let me go back to this real quick, that this looks like what the bigger CNCs would have on them as far as the bar supports, the ball screws, even the bed being extruded aluminum. Would you say that this is kind of like it would get you ready for a bigger CNC if you needed to upgrade?
Absolutely. The main difference between this and the bigger units is going to be the ball screw style. The much larger units, it may not just be bars. You may have an actual full extruded aluminum bridge that goes from gantry support to gantry support. Because the bigger units, typically you're going to increase your speed, your feeds, and your feeds and speed rate. So that requires a little more rigidity. So the bigger machines, you'll have something a little different here, but essentially the anatomy is going to be the same. You're going to have a gantry support, and those can either be made out of aluminum, steel, or in this case, heavy duty plastic. And this is a very dense plastic, very solid. The bars will vary. Also, the ball screw will vary. Some machines will offer a much larger diameter ball screw. For a machine this size, you certainly don't need it. But as someone who's ran CNC a while, I would honestly say this setup with the ball screw is far better than anything with a belt. You typically are going to get more consistent results out of a ball screw than you would a belt-driven machine, with far less issues of having problems while you're running it.
So not to say that the belt driven is bad necessarily, but in your experience of using them, you found that there might be more issues with them. I mean, why do you say it that way?
Well, the belt driven machines, you have to keep them tensioned. And if you're in the middle of a long project, and let's say you didn't check your belt before you started the long project, during that project, if a belt starts to heat up or stretch or loosen up, or even break, that could create all kinds of problems and ruin your workpiece. So the belts have that tendency, just like all belts do. They're going to have that stretch function. They are a potential for stretching, breaking, cracking. You got to inspect them frequently. And the ball screws, the only thing you really have to do is occasionally throw some grease on them and just keep them lubed. But you're going to have to do that with all of your stuff anyway. But the belt-driven machines typically aren't going to be built as well as the screw-driven machines.
Okay, so if you don't mind a little maintenance or keeping up with a schedule of checking your CNC before using it, then a belt-driven would be just fine. But if you aren't into maintenance and checking everything every time, maybe the ball screw would be a better choice for the customer.
Yep, and most of the machines we carry are all going to be ball driven. But if you've got one that's belt, that is definitely something you want to keep an eye on. That can create some problems for you. And I've got a friend that had a CNC, and his first machine was belt driven, and he had constant problems with his X. And then he upgraded his machine to a Z drive that had the ball screw set up, and he was still having problems with his X and his Y skipping and slipping, and that just creates frustration. And the last thing you want with a machine that you want to enjoy to use is having a lot of frustration. And so he had upgraded to another machine and didn't really have any problems after that.
So you upgraded and didn't look back.
Yep.
Very good. All right. Well, we don't have any questions, which is all right, because that means you covered it really well. Watch your hand there, buddy.
So, if you want to know more about CNC, feel free to reach out to us. I'm available. I certainly didn't cover everything. And if you want to know more about some of the larger machines that we've got available, feel free to call. Maybe you're looking to get into it and you're just not even sure where to look or what to look for. Give me a call. I'll be happy to help any way we can. You can call us at 800-228-0000 and just ask for CNC Chris, and I'll see what I can help you out with.
Oh, is that your new
We,
name
we
now?
carry the full Next Wave line. And one of the biggest reasons we wanted to talk about the Next Wave line now is because of that promo. So take advantage of that if you're looking to get into it. Give us a call. You still got a couple of days to make that decision. And if you miss it, there's always next month. There's always going to be something new next month. It just won't be a laser.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. $500 laser or $1,000 laser for free.
Yep. So check them out, and we're happy to help and answer any questions you got. Don't hesitate to let us know.
Sounds good. Well, if you have any questions on this, definitely leave them in the comment section below. We'll be able to address them later after the show. But thank you very much for joining us on Abrasive and Proud of It, a product spotlight Thursdays.
Yeah. Well, I guess that would be Mike, and I would be Chris.
Everybody have a great day.